Hey yo, that's Klody. Klody Dei.
Hey.
Cloudy. Yeah. First record you ever gave me.
That
First time I had
is.
you on the show.
That is.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah,
Love
so-
that record till this day.
So let's just talk about a couple of things real quick. Let me just raise that mic up for you.
Okay.
And you can take
There
that
we
mic
go.
right there. So what's changed since the last time you were up at the station? Because last time you were telling me about the new song, which I have now, and we're gonna play later.
Yes.
But what else has been in the works for you since the last time you were at the station?
So I've actually put out an EP, and it's just a short EP. It's featured with the song that you hear right now, and it has Planet Clo up there, but that one's only available on SoundCloud. And it has 2 other songs up
Okay.
there. Yes, one is called Paper Trail, and the other one is called Oh My.
Okay. Well, since I first met you, honestly, I got to know you through the pop-ups first before I knew about the music. I mean, I know
Right.
the music was out before, but I kind of met you in reverse.
Yes.
You were doing the independent business thing.
Yeah.
And with us in June, and we're gonna be celebrating a lot in June,
That's
Black
right,
Music Month
yes.
and Juneteenth. And since Juneteenth is about independence, and you're an independent artist and an independent business person,
Yes.
let's talk about when did you first get the inkling that you wanted to go into business for yourself?
When I just was working at all these jobs and it just wasn't working out. Like
Okay.
I don't know, I always had a like an entrepreneur spirit. And I never knew what my angle was because like growing up, like fashion per se, like because fashion was my first love. Growing up like with fashion, I don't have too many people in my family that's into fashion. It's just my great aunt. She just sewn like for all of her life. So I was just always like into it, I guess, from just seeing her sew. But other than that, like nobody was really into fashion. Everybody was just, just doing like the normal 9-to-5 thing, get a good
Right.
job, blase. But that just wasn't me. So I just had to look into who I am and I really wanted to do, and that's fashion. And then once I kind of got over the fashion hump, then I was like, my fashion needs some music. Because I don't like, the regular, was like the
Doing some
regular,
dance
like,
music, yeah.
yeah, I don't really like that, especially not with my clothes. My clothes are too flat.
Right,
So
okay.
yeah, just started creating my own music, and now here we are. So we're about to combine the 2.
Well, you know what? It does make sense because fashion and music go hand in hand. Artists have been known to set the next fashion trends to the public, and
That's
having an insight in regards to creating fashion, it gives you both perspectives.
Right.
So, did you go to school for fashion, or was this just something that was just naturally something that you just took to?
Well, I would have went to school, but unfortunately, like my family wasn't as blessed to send me off to the school I wanted to go to. I actually got into a private fashion school,
Okay.
but when it was time for me to go, it's just I didn't have the funds for it.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, it happens a lot, and you have to pick up from from where you left off. You have to consider what you have, and you have to do pretty much with what you have. So on that day, I didn't find out that I could go more. He went and he bought me my first sewing machine. So
That's what's up. Investing in
yeah.
talent. Yes.
yes, he's seen it in me, and it's just something that I've always been in love with. Like I can't let it go.
No wrong with that, and it's a good thing because the one thing that's great about fashion and music, you can use the music to sell the brand.
Right.
And a lot of artists don't take advantage of using their music for product placement, and you're one of the few that I know in the area that is taking advantage of that.
Yeah, because I grew up in that era. I grew up in a baby fat, rock of wear,
Okay.
food type of era to where, my favorite artists, they all had fashion lines. And, I figured if they can do it, why can't I? It doesn't matter, like, where I start. It's just as long as, like, if I start. I'm not going to lie to you. This is the first time that I've seen somebody at my sort of level, like literally starting from ground zero with both of those things.
Right.
And, I plan to dominate them both.
Okay. Well, you're off to a good start because when you were at the pop-ups, you had a very well-received, let's just say, area of people supporting your brand.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So let's talk about the name of the brand.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
So the name of the brand is Beware.
Okay.
And beware is for people who aren't afraid to be themselves. It's for people who love themselves. And I always say, if you love yourself, you're gonna love me too. So beware is just it's a play like on words, like beware, like oh something is coming. But I spelled it like BEWEARR because you know
Okay.
beware clothes. But even then, when I came up with that name in eighth grade, I didn't necessarily think that I could rap, but it's just like the way I played with those words. It's like,
Yeah,
I might as
wordplay.
well. Yeah,
It's funny
like
how one thing
early.
leads to another.
Right.
But I
And
think it's amazing that in the eighth grade you came up with a plan for a name and a brand at such an early age. Because at that young of an age, not too many people really know what they have planned for their future. I know I did. Going outside to play was about the gist of it. One time I gotta be home before the light come on. And that's about it. You were already on it at a very young age. Have you always been that serious minded at such an early age?
Well, when I created the name, we were doing a project, like an end of the school year project, and it was it was like an alphabetical project to where like you would have to come up with different pages in the alphabet for your scrapbook and stuff like that. So like for E, like I did like entrepreneurship, and I just remember the name just Beware it just came literally like into my head. I can't really explain it. It literally just came from God.
Okay.
And I just held on to it because I thought I was just going to be a stylist. But styling was just not enough because I kind of have to work with what I have instead of creating what I want.
Right.
So, I always said, like, if I do come up with a fashion line, it's going to be called Beware. And I just added 2 R's for a little flair. There we go.
Gotta stand out. But you was gonna stand out anyway.
Of course.
Just from your bubbly personality, I can see that you was gonna stand
you.
out. But let me just ask you this, because I try to encourage artists to maximize the most of all of your interests. Because some people will just invest in their one particular talent and not realize that the other stuff that you're interested in can help you push things along. What are some of the other things that helps move your music or your fashion that's outside of those interests? What are some of the other things you do?
Well, I've always been good at words. I've always been good at writing. I love to write. English was my favorite subject in school. I always did well in that. And I would say maybe last year, like I just started a journal and I just was able to just keep up with it, just doing like affirmations and stuff like that. Or anytime I feel bad, I write in it. Anytime I feel good, like I write in it. So I just always just love to write.
Okay.
And let me think, what else? Oh, psychology.
Yes.
I thought that was like my first choice for going to college, but they say, oh, like psychology majors, they don't make money, da 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 da. But I've always just been good with wanting to know what makes people do what.
Now,
So
would you say that intuitiveness makes you a better artist and wanting to know everything outside of just the art? Because some people, as I said, because they're so focused on art, they don't study their business. And I think with you having an interest in fashion, of course, fashion is a business that has a lot of similarities to the music industry. You have to know what's current. You have to be able to get the product out fast. You have to know how to push, promote, and style a visual for it, because music isn't just about the music anymore. It's also about the image and the look, which is also a lot about fashion. So how do those two things play together to push both of your brands?
I mean, I would just say like I'm just kind of blessed in that way because like subliminally I've been studying music, but I never thought that I would like take it actually serious.
Right.
It just takes that one time you hear your voice in that mic and then you play it back and you're like, oh shoot, like that's me. Like I actually sound like pretty dope. So
it's funny. As often as I've been on the mic and I hear myself, I've never been quite used to the sound of my own voice. I always thought it's the funniest thing to me.
Yeah, it's weird because it's just like this is how I sound. I didn't like my voice at first. I didn't like it, but I kind of had to learn to play with my voice and understand like what records may be good for me, what
Right.
tones may be good for me, what type of vibes may be good for me. And, you know, I'm very mutable. Like, I can literally go off of any type of beat, any type of songs, because I've just been, you know, subliminally, like, studying music my whole life.
Right.
So, yeah, when I create music, it's just something like, okay, I just go in to see, like, what I would want somebody to say. So then it's just me saying it.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. When you first started, because I know that most artists, when they first start, they kind of sound like whoever their favorite or influence is.
Mm-hmm.
So who are some of the artists that you were influenced by who made you want to pick up the pen and you get on the mic?
Oh yes. So my favorite rapper, of course, is Jay-Z.
Okay.
He's been a huge influence in my life. I just remember, like, he had the first song that I liked. The first song that I ever liked and I ever remembered was "Give It to Me" when I was a child. And my brother, like, he's always just played like various artists like throughout my house, like DMX, Missy Elliott, Aaliyah, Lauryn Hill. You know, one of my favorites is Nicki Minaj, of course, and they've just always just been people like to stick with me and just be like, okay, like if they can do it, like so can I, because I really just love being clever, and
Right.
I love Kanye as well because he's very like outspoken, like because I was kind of like a timid child, so like with him, like just being like, oh no, can't nobody tell me nothing. I just remember being in my room playing my songs like through my CD player, of course at a time,
Right.
but
Okay.
yeah, and just being so enthralled and so enthused by it.
Okay. No wrong with that.
She a female Kanye.
I know-
You finally
shut up.
said something.
Shut
Finally.
She's a female Kanye.
I know Queen has like
I love to let her shine. She's just amazing to me, for real.
You're amazing.
Oh,
No.
see, y'all too much for me. Y'all too much for me.
Not
But you know
really.
what? But I love that y'all work
He
well
always calls
together.
me that. Yeah.
You know what? Let's talk about this. The
Uh-huh.
team that's behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How important is it of the people that you have around you? Do they have a particular position to play? Because some people build a team of people who are just there to be there, and it's really important to have people involved with you that have a specific skill or craft or something they can contribute to helping push the brand. When you are building a team, what is it that what did you look for in your team members? What do you
Ambition, diligence, honesty.
Right. Yeah, that's
Because I'm the
definitely
type, like, you don't have to blow smoke up my butt, like, to
Right.
get me to, I guess, like, to get me to believe in, like, what's going on. Or,
Right.
like, to get me to, like, be happy with my own music. Like, I'm confident enough to be like, all right, if this doesn't sound good,
But
then
do you
we're
have
gonna
that one
change.
person who'll tell you that ain't it? Because
That's
sometimes
me.
that's you.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
me.
He's
that's
my,
good.
listen, he is like 10 people in one, and not just for me, but for him. Like, he has like at least like 10 different attributes that he contributes on.
Let's
his
talk
lonesome.
about that. What's the attributes that you have that bring this thing all together? What's your
Well, one of my
contributions?
leading qualities is being a director. I always
Okay.
aspired to be a director. I'm a storyteller. So
Okay.
how I see it is like I mainly just picture it in my head how I could see it or how I would see it in a movie,
Right.
and that's how I kind of conduct our different moves with club. Because when it comes down to music, what we first off do was just plan it ahead. How I see it in a movie, what would be the next steps? Oh, would it be promotion? Would it be like getting into a radio or performing somewhere? Like I try to look ahead in those type of ways.
Right.
Right now, I'm doing videography.
Okay.
I'm doing,
Which is very important
yes, sir.
because let's talk about the importance of the right visuals.
Okay.
Because too many artists make the mistake of having visuals that look the same as everybody else. It's like they all wash together and you don't know whose video it is.
Yeah.
What's the most outstanding thing in regards to how you shoot a video?
Well, concept for me, that's the main thing I will go with. When it comes down to shooting a music video, I love for a story to be told, or at least a concept if it's abstract.
Right.
For it to be visuals, things planned out. Main thing I like focus on, my favorite part is the storyboard, because
Okay.
you get to draw
Now, do you
You
both
know.
collaborate and write the storyboard together, or
Okay.
do you present it and then she'll let you know what she likes or doesn't like?
Well,
How does that work?
Sometimes we sit right next to each other and she'll see me on my iPad and I'll sketch up some things and I'll show her my little stick figures because that's how they start off. And she'll be like, oh, I like this, I don't like this, I don't see how that's going to work. And then we have to kind of, you know.
Meet in the middle.
Exactly.
I get it.
Yeah.
Now, how did you get into videography? Because there is a growing trend of people not going to school for certain arts. They pick up the camera or the mic or whatever, the beat machine, and they just learn as they go. Did you have a particular interest in videography and photography, or was it just something you just decided one day, I'm going to try this?
I never had an interest, never. What happened was I started off drawing. I started off drawing first and getting into cartoons. I'm a big superhero guy.
Okay.
Marvel, DC, I love comics for the longest. And over a while, like I started to create my own stories, and it just led into me wanting to, you know, have my own movies, and I started getting into that. And then the next thing I knew, I'm like, okay, let me pick up a camera. And then I started to film certain things, and I got into music too. And I started seeing how music videos were shot. And I was like, okay, this is.
Well, you know what? It all goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
Because the one thing about comic book art, you're writing in storyboards. A lot of times you're drawing out the storyboard before you include the dialogue.
Exactly.
So you have an idea of how to put together, without the dialogue and the lyrics, how the story should play out.
Exactly.
So it's a great skill to transfer over to photography and video.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it took me some time to learn videography and also photography because, you know, they go hand in hand. But all of this coming along, and it's meshing very well together.
Now, when you say it took you some time, how much time did it take from when you got your first camera to after learning photography? What was the transition from photography to video? What was the amount of time it took for you to feel comfortable with shooting videos?
Well, with photography, I kind of did it at the same time, which I don't recommend anybody. I think you should just
learn that one at a time.
one at a time.
Okay.
But I get bored fast, so I had to do two things at once so I can keep the interest and the drive going for me. So I started off with videography. I learned a few classes. There's good classes on Udemy. There's good classes on YouTube. There's classes you can take at colleges, your nearby colleges. Just take those little classes, cost you a few $100s, and you can learn something that can make you money from that point on. And then you can invest back into what you really want to do. What for me would be directing.
And how important was it for you to buy your own equipment? Because too many people make a mistake of not investing in their craft.
It's very important.
Yeah,
Don't go cheap.
There.
Just don't go cheap. You're gonna wind up wasting more money in the long run.
Would you recommend go with what you can afford and then expand as you get better?
Oh
because,
yeah.
Because some people buy the best equipment and don't know what they're doing with it.
Yeah. But you know, for me it was like, all right, I knew I couldn't get a red camera at first, and that's like top quality.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I kind of went cheap the first time, and it was just, that wasn't good at all either, because now I'm working with something that's not going to be able to do what I wanted to do. So you kind of have to gauge it. If you need to, go rent a camera and see how it is for a week, and then, you know, figure out whether it works for you, and then see if you can budget the price in, or, you know, if you have credit, just go put it on your credit card, and then, you know, do it that way, whatever works for you.
That's true.
That's
Whatever
right.
works for you.
That's
And I'm
right.
glad you mentioned using your resources that you have.
Yeah.
And staying within your budget.
100%.
Because a lot of people have champagne tastes and they don't have 40 money.
Oh.
they don't have malt liquor money. I really feel a certain way about that. That's a whole nother story. I get the fake it till you make it process and philosophy. I get it. I don't like it, but I get it.
Yeah, 100%. When you're creative, you tend to fix problems. Even if you have like a low budget camera, you figure it out. You have to.
Yeah.
You know, that's the only option.
But you know, the funny thing about technology moving as fast as it is, a low budget camera in this era now is better than what some of the best directors had 30 years ago, and they made classic films.
That's
So what you call a low budget camera, I look at it the philosophy, classic movies were made off of less than this, so there's really nothing to really stop you. It's your own imagination and your work ethic that makes the gadget work. My controller is not the best controller. That one right there, that's considered a low-end controller. But I drive it like it's a Maserati. I drive it.
I love that.
Yeah, I
That's
like
right.
that too.
So yeah, so it's not always what tools you have. It's the person that's holding those tools
Yeah.
that make it work.
Yeah, gotta be creative. Gotta be really creative.
This person is the best person for the job. That's
Okay,
what
well,
I'm
it sounds like you got everything between the two of you. You have your music, your fashion, your visuals. I'm pretty sure you're gonna find a way to incorporate your cartoons into this big conglomerate of social media and multimedia company that you have.
Yeah, I'm working on a music video right now,
Right.
animating a music video. It's gonna take some time, but it's coming in.
Tell me how many frames.
Now with the technology of now, is it how much easier is it to do animated film as compared to literally drawing one image at a time?
Just some tools to program so where it makes it easier for you. Like Chloe was just saying, like how many frames does it take to animate something?
Right.
Like a 3 minute, like a 1 minute video would probably be about 1,400 frames, which
Yeah.
means you draw 1,400 pictures. You know, you can copy and paste, erase, and then adjust. You know, that'd probably be the best way to get your rough draft going. But adding the color, the effects, and that's a real big process and real amount of time that you're putting in there. So you gotta be invested. You gotta be all in.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you done missed quite a few parties getting that animated work done.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not even a party guy, but that's really
It just works out for him.
it works out for me. It's part of my personality. I'd rather be in and making my own thing at home. That's just how I am. But you know.
Okay. Well, look, we're gonna get to the new record,
Mm-hmm.
but before we get into it, you gotta tell the story behind the new record. Let's talk about that.
So, yes, this new record called Black Owned Business. I wanted to make something for us for once. I wanted to incorporate all different types of Black life there is, like whether you're Christian or you spiritual or
Okay.
you hood or you not, like you're gonna enjoy the record. And honestly, it just came through a lot of frustration of being in spaces to where I knew I was more than capable, but I wasn't taken serious just because of my skin color and just because I'm a female as well. So just being vocal, and he always calls me like the female kindly, just being vocal and saying things that people, you know, they are afraid to say, I'm gonna be the one to say it.
And this is the place to say it, because I'll say any and everything.
Love to hear it.
Yeah, so go ahead and introduce the song. I'm going to play that next. So go ahead, introduce the song to the people.
Alright, so right now you're going to be hearing Klody Dei, Black Owned Business. Let's go.
My name is Klody Dei, and this is a song that I wrote for my melanated people. I see y'all, I am y'all, and this is for us. Let's get it, yeah. I am under my black-owned business. I am under my black-owned business. Confident, cause I know who I is. I pull up so melanated gifted. I am under my black-owned business. I am under my black-owned business. Confident, cause I know who I is. I pull up so melanated gifted. I put it on deck, bring my tempo. Never worry about it though, cause you know I get that though. My own life, I control on my mission.
Yes. Yeah, we need more of that. Yeah, I'm gonna clap it up for that. Yeah, clap it up for that. Yes, indeed.
That's such a good record. I love it.
Okay,
Yes.
so let's tell me,
Yes.
what was the time frame to write that song?
The time frame? I don't know. Probably took me like maybe 2 days officially, and
Okay.
then I had to go in and change a couple words. But other than that, it didn't take me too long to write that. So
Okay.
yeah, it just came
Now-
very natural.
Now, please tell me, are there visuals planned for this song?
Yes,
Yes.
and you're gonna be in it. Woo!
You know what? Yes, I will take that. Tell me when,
That's a gift we have for
where,
you.
and I'm there. Yes.
Listen, as soon as this thing, you know what I'm saying, we shut down, we have something planned for you. Because I
Okay.
definitely want you to be in it. I really love what you got going on, and I'm just thankful that you would even give me a chance.
But you know, though, you're one of the people that give me reason to believe that hip hop is still in good hands.
Oh, really?
Because
Stop.
I'm gonna be honest. I really lost a lot of faith in the music with too much of the same subject matter, same look, same sound, same negative projections with no consequences being explained. And it really didn't do me any good for me. So I had to step back and like, you know what? Everything is not for me. Young people have a right to the era that they live in. And it's not for me to go too hard at them, but at the same time, it's not for me to support what is not for me.
Yeah.
So I stepped back.
I understand.
But then I got to see artists that came up. I've seen artists like Nick Grant, a Rhapsody, Toby and Wigway, Kendrick, and they gave me hope that it's okay because they use similar style productions of music. So it's not the sound I had a problem with; it was the subject matter that I was had a problem with. Because I have no problem with changing in production sounds and what moves people. But what I want to hear something that feeds my soul as much as make me move.
Exactly.
So I hear that from you, and I don't expect you to be one kind of artist. Everybody has different things that they want to express. There's a time to party. There's a time to be serious. There's a time to, quite honestly, I come from the Luke era, so I get it. There's a time for that. There's a time for that. I can't be so mad at the Twerk Nation when I was there for the Luke party.
Exactly.
So I get it.
I'm not mad at that.
I'm not mad at that at all. So have your fun, young people, but come up for air sometimes. That's all I'm saying. Come up for some air. Relax.
Right.
Gotta eat your veggies too, huh?
Eat your freaking vegetables.
Yeah, you know the junk food you want,
Erica
but have some vegetables along the way. That's it.
Absolutely. Yes. I'm glad that I could do that, and honestly, it was very therapeutic for me. So I know if it's therapeutic for me, it's going to be therapeutic for a lot of people who look like me. Right. So I'm thankful.
And it's funny because when you told me the title of this song and actually hearing it, I'm like, well, it made me think of the song Entrepreneur by Pharrell and Jay-Z, which is why I blended it in the background because the sound that you made, the beats permit, they come up perfect. I could play those two songs back to back to get that positive message across.
Wow.
So I was feeling this. I'm just telling you now, I was feeling it.
Oh,
yes,
great.
Indeed.
See, I'm thankful because, like I said, he's one of my favorite artists. Jay-Z and Pharrell is definitely my favorite producer. But, with it called, like, Black-owned business, I was trying to, come up with like maybe some entrepreneurship bars, but not all Black people can relate to that.
Right.
So it's just I'm minding my Black-owned business. Like my business is Black, and I'm minding my own, whether it's your actual business or if it's just you and yourself.
Exactly.
There you go.
Everybody can do that. Some people need to do more of that.
Yeah, especially nowadays.
This is true. This is true.
This is kind of wild, but I like the double entendre, as Jay-Z would say.
Yeah,
I do like that.
Yeah.
So, like I said, you're giving me more and more reasons to appreciate what you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much, Mrs. Sean.
You're quite welcome. You're quite welcome. Wow. I'm at that point where I miss the shore now. I love that.
I know.
I love being the gray-haired grizzled dude. Actually,
DJ
either way works for me,
Sean.
but I appreciate it.
I just put some respect on your name.
And
like
I
said,
appreciate that. Yes, indeed.
I don't do that.
Yeah. That makes the old guy feel good. Oh man, but that's true. I try to live my life. I'm the youngest old guy you're ever gonna meet.
100%. There's a lot of people who just sit in the house.
Yeah, because some people, I've seen some young people that are older than they should be. Yeah. Like life done beat up on them more than it should have. I'm like, come on, man, you got your short years in shouldn't be this hard.
Yeah, most of the time it's for no reason. They just comfortable and want to stay comfortable. But you gotta take risks. You gotta take challenges on. Don't be afraid of new things.
Right, exactly. I tell people all the time, don't let just the one thing you're doing be the only thing, because you'll miss out on so many things from not having multiple interests.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. That's what I'm saying. Do things that make your skin glow, you know?
Yes.
There
I
we
like
go.
that.
That's it. Drink some water, use some good lotion, and get out there and go. Yo,
Yeah,
I believe in skincare. I tell you like this. I'll
Yeah,
spend
yours
more
look
money
pretty
on my
good.
skincare than my wardrobe.
Oh,
Yeah, you
I
got to.
respect that.
Man, I mean,
I appreciate that.
I mean, I
Yes.
love clothes. Clothes is good, but I also feel like some people just look good in their clothes. I look good in my skin.
Yeah.
There we go.
Your
There we
skin is your
go.
most important organ.
That's it.
That is true. Very true.
So, yeah, so before we wrap this up, because I wish I had more music of yours. That's what, because I would
You
love
wanna-
to
you
have
wanna
done
hear
a
my-
whole. I would love to have done a whole day of multiple songs, and we could have just
Okay.
talked about that. But right now, I think I'm just gonna play one of your favorite artists. I'm gonna play Jay-Z and Pharrell.
Oh,
Entrepreneur.
yay.
We're gonna listen to that, and who knows? I might think of some questions in between this song,
Uh-huh.
and we can talk about a couple of things. But first off, what's coming up with the fashion? I mean, is there anything coming up? New line, new gear, and who is your clothes for? Is it mostly female line, or is there any male pieces coming soon? What's
Yeah, I know
word?
because you was asking me last time. But so what's coming up next for my fashion? So since I'm at a good place within my music, I feel as though I can just go ahead and release my fashion to coincide with that. And what's coming up next is we're about to have some Juneteenth merch out. Yes, we're about to have some Juneteenth things going.
Okay,
And
send me a
of
photo.
course-
What shirts, t-shirts? Because
Shirts, t-shirts.
okay,
hats.
send me a photo of some stuff. Because I will definitely support that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. So we got that coming up, and we're gonna see what the response is.
Okay.
But yeah, I just want my people to come through, show out. You know what I'm saying? Cop something, cause it's gonna be a good look, and it's gonna be a good thing to say, like, hey, I got like one of Klody Dei's first pieces of clothing when she first came out. So.
Now, is this going to be at the next pop-up? I mean, what's the location where they can, or are they just going to get it straight from you direct?
It's online.
Okay.
Yes, beware.com. My site is not available at this point because I'm still getting some loose ends tied.
Right.
But it will be on my website, and then as soon as I get my website going, I don't mind going back to the pop-up shop because it
Well,
was
on the flip
love.
side, I'll just hit you up direct.
Oh yeah,
You
you
know,
can.
like
'cause
word on the street
you
is, I can
VIP
call
like
you
that.
direct.
You VIP
You
like
always
that,
do
of
that.
course. We got you,
Okay.
of course.
Yeah, well, so we're going to get to this song right here. Pharrell, featuring Jay-Z, Entrepreneur. Song came out a little while back, but it's still relevant right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
That's
Yeah.
right. Let that thing rip.
Yeah, we're going to
Love
go.
to hear it.
WLFR 91.7. Let's go.
Yeah.